Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, Q&A on how to build muscle straight from my SKOOL community. By the way, join. All right, let's go. If you match the effective volume of conventional strength training to that of hypertrophy training, will you gain the same muscle mass and even greater strength gains? Yes. So first, let me give you a thumbs up. Let me make sure I understand your question. If you match the effective volume, yeah, you're gonna make just as much muscle growth, but you're gonna make more strength gains, mainly because, like I said a million times, strength is mainly neural. It's a scale. The more you lift heavy in the low rep ranges, the stronger you get. So if you match the effective volume, you're gonna build just as much muscle as hypertrophy training, but you're gonna be stronger. Uh, Next, but obviously everything comes with pros and cons, right? Your joints, recovery, central nervous system fatigue, blah blah blah. You got to manage that. Next, how to know if you're making progress, building muscle. Oh, I forgot to read your name. Oh, it's my nigga again. Tapioca. Let's go. Tapetio. I get so high when I see his name. Tapetio Troquero. All right, next, Dr. Smooth. Come on, bro. How to know if you're making progress, building muscle, and your plan is working. I generally track my reps and weight and focus on increasing my reps or weight in my next training session. To keep it simple, and again, I've been consistent with that from day one. The best predictor that you're building muscle, assuming you've been training for a long time, whatever, is simply you getting stronger. That's why I say all the time, getting stronger does not build muscle. Getting stronger is a sign that you're building muscle and are making neural adaptations, right? But the neural adaptations, those peak after like a few weeks to a few months, depending on the individual. So, assuming you've been, that's why I said in the beginning, assuming you've been training for a long time, you've been doing the same exercise for a while, the best predictor that you putting on muscle, apart from obviously, you know, measuring muscle growth, right, in a lab or something, which we don't have access to, is you getting stronger. Because once neural adaptations are done, they peaked. What else is gonna drive, uh, you know, um, force output, right? It's just more contractile tissue, more muscle, right? More myofibrosis and stuff like that. So now, if you keep switching your exercises, now it gets a little complicated, right? If you switching exercises, now strength and size, the correlation gets weaker and weaker because your body has to learn how to recruit the fibers and blah blah blah. But if you've been doing the same exercise for a long time and you're getting increases in performance, again, assuming that you're not getting fat, right? So that because that's gonna affect your leverages and stuff like that. That's a great sign that you putting on muscle. Next, guys, you gotta remember what's the point of muscle, right? What's the point of muscle? Think about it. What's the evolutionary goal of muscle? It's movement, right? Well, what's the evolutionary goal of the muscles we're trying to grow, which are type 2 muscle fibers, right? Type 2A, type 2B. Type 1, they grow, but only a little bit. When you see a guy with big muscles, it's mainly fast twitch, aka type 1, type 2, type 2A, type 2B fibers, right? And what is the main goal of those fast twitch type 2 fibers? It's in the name, right? Fast twitch, right? It's for powerful contractions, powerful movement, right? What is power? Work over time. What is work? Right? Think about it. Force times displacement. So long story short, being able to move things quickly. So being able to bench 200 pounds really fast, being able to squat 400 pounds really fast. That's what large type 2 fibers evolve for. So the best predictor that you building large type 2 fast twitch fibers is you're moving more weight quickly, right? You're more powerful. It's that simple. Type 2 fibers evolved for power, which is work over time, right? Or force times velocity. All right, next, let's see. Height, oh, Andy, wait, who's it? Okay, Andy, 5'10", 209 pounds, 20% body fat. Were you the guy who capped the other day on your FFMI? Probably you. Asian genetics, South Korean, let's go. How much muscle can an Asian genetics having Asian man expect to gain in 1 year if he's spamming 10T and HSP? I know ideally 1 pound per month, but I know that's not happening with my genetics. Okay, so how do you know it's not happening with your genetics, right? You don't know. Like I said, there's outliers in every ethnicity, every race. You don't know. You might be the guys. There are Asian guys out there with better genetics than a random West African, right? That's why these genetic videos. I was like, man, I didn't want to make those because I knew people were gonna just skip the disclaimer and just overgeneralize, right? How do you know if you don't have elite Asian genetics? You don't know that. But anyway, so if you're doing the 10 testosterone commandments, which is the best protocol on earth, which includes HSP training and fucking the testosterone diet and all that stuff, you dialing everything in, you should be gaining at least 1 all the way up to 3 pounds of muscle a month, assuming your FFMI is low. If your FFMI is high, the higher your FFMI is, the lower the rate of muscle growth, obviously. I hear when people say, oh, how much muscle you should expect to gain in the first year, second year, third year. It doesn't matter what year you're in. What matters is your FFMI, because you could be in year 3, but if your FMI is 17, you should have a long runway, and therefore you can put on a lot of muscle, because no one is training consistently for 3 years straight. Most people train consistently, stop, train consistently, stop. Also, you have to understand that the rate of muscle growth depends on, the muscle that you're training, right? So let's say you've been training for 3 years, but you never train legs. You think your legs are going to grow at the same rate as the muscle you've been training for 3 years? See? So it depends on how close that muscle is to your genetic potential. The further away you are, the more muscle you're going to put on. So to keep it simple, you should expect to gain 1 to 3 pounds of muscle, a month. And I say 1 to 3 because you have the genetic freaks, right, who could put on 3 pounds of muscle a month, and at a pretty consistent rate until it starts to plateau. And obviously on the low end, everyone on the low end should try to get 1 pound of muscle a month if your FFMI is low, meaning you're around that 18 to 20 range. Next, and yeah, that comes out to about 12 pounds a year minimum. And on the high end, that's when you get into 20, 30, whatever. Next, what to change on the HSP Centurion full body workout to focus more on strength and power, or it needs to be hella different? Yeah, I mean, HSP is already taking care of strength and power because of your heavy day. The goal of heavy day is strength and power. Also, if you're doing HSP Centurion, which I think most people should be doing because most of you guys recovery is trash, you're doing power doing your warm up sets. Because in OG HSP, your warm up sets are actually like high rep, close to failure. Whereas in Centurion, your warm up sets are power sets, right? Where you're going really fast, trying to get that post activation potential, trying to learn how to recruit the fibers while training power at the same time in case you're like an athlete and into combat sports. So you don't have to change much. You're already doing strength and power on HSP Centurion. Um, if you want, you could add another heavy day, right? But make sure you have the recovery to afford that. And his name was David Manag. I can never pronounce your name. David Managanze. David Manega. I just said David Manega. That's your new name. Next, Blazej. I forgot I was typing for mad long during the other Q&A. All right, Blazej Zegoski. Next, 6'2", 188 pounds, 12% body fat, 4 years gym experience. Good. See, the more stats you guys gave, the more specific my answers can get. Is doing 3 sets of lateral raises at the end of each heavy stretch pump training, good for maximum side delts growth. Well, at the end of your protocol, you're gonna be exhausted. You won't be able to recruit your high threshold motor units. You can do it at the end of your workout, but remember, every exercise you train, doing any routine, could be split, bro split, push pull, upper lower full body. The exercises that you perform at the end of your routine are never gonna get the best stimulus, mainly because you're tired. It's that simple. You're tired. So you're not recruiting your high threshold motor units, which are the ones that 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 grow the most, right? The ones that we're trying to target, the ones that control the most muscle fibers. So if you're doing it at the end, it doesn't hurt. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't hurt, but you're actually getting more fatigue than you're getting growth stimulus. So if it's a body part you want to bring up, either do it at the beginning or do it for nucleus overload, as its own little specialization workout. So to answer your question, yeah, it doesn't hurt to do it at the end, but the best bang for your buck will come at the beginning. All right, next, bro. Okay, Ramo. Bro, what I meant was that if you do former, okay, that's the guy from the other Q&A. What I Wait, what? But what I meant was that if you do formal works, your bones adapt to the stress and get heavier and more dense. With heavier and denser bones, you automatically weigh more, leading to more muscle mass. All that way, heavier fat people have more muscle mass naturally, so these muscles can support their weight and hold their body. That's what I meant last time. It was a theoretical question. Yeah, I mean, if you increase, I mentioned that when I was talking about bone density training and all that stuff years ago. If you increase your bone mass, obviously, you're going to be heavier. Your fibers will eventually get bigger because they have to move more weight, but it's going to be slow. because it's not like you're gonna double your bone mass in a year, right? So that's why I said just lift weights, man. Keep it simple. But yes, if you have bigger and denser bones, you're gonna be heavier, meaning your fibers have to work harder to move to move your bones. Um, it's a slow approach though. Next is the stretch from farmer walks and not forgetting soul traps 2 to 4 times a week with great recovery. Or do I need to add shrugs? Absolutely. Farmer walks will blow the fuck out of your traps. One, you training them in a stretch position, and I've been telling you guys for over a decade, the stretch position is the most important part of the lift, and everyone is fucking parroting that now as if it's some new discovery. Fucking copycats. But yeah, you're getting a crazy stretch on your traps. And yeah, if you're doing it 2 to 4 times a week, you're keeping protein synthesis high, you're keeping myostatin low, you're increasing androgen receptors. Um, yeah, you're gonna get big traps. You don't have to add shrugs. You could add the shrugs, for the fuck of it at the end, but more like an insurance policy. Next, indirectly question. You mean indirect question? Wait, did I give him a like? Top and level up? Yeah, I did. All right, so this is Frank Goulet Alin. Indirectly question about muscle growth. You mean indirect question? It's optimal for digestion to go to the toilet 5 to 10 minutes after each meal, assuming every factor is in check. I mean, bro, if you could take a shit 5 to 10 minutes after each meal, more power to you. Because all else equal, the more poops you take, the healthier you are. People that poop 1 or 3 times a day are way healthier than people that poop like 1 or 3 times a week. So if you could poop after each meal, more power to you, man. That means you have good gut health and good movement. You're also not gonna keep reabsorbing fucking estrogen. So I mean, if you could do it, do it. Don't force yourself though. What the fuck? Next, which is better for power, bone density, boxing? Okay, barbell split squats or barbell walking lunges? Lunges, obviously lunges, because it's slightly harder than split squats. You obviously have to balance yourself more. Split squats, you just gotta you still have to balance yourself, but you literally just stationary and going up, down, up, down. Whereas barbell walking lunges, holy shit, man, you're including way more fibers, and obviously it's gonna require a lot more coordination and things like that. For combat sports, I would do both, but if you have to pick one, definitely walking lunges. Next, best nucleus overload exercises to improve posture, anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, anterior pelvic tilt, forward neck, rounded shoulders, or just exercises in general. You could do face pulls, right? Face pulls are great if you have rounded shoulders. Um, as far as let's see, yeah, face. As far as rounded shoulders, I've seen great results on people that spam face pulls. Pretty much just train your upper back, man. Train your upper back a lot, because most of us obviously have terrible posture, right? Rounded shoulders because we typing all day and we spam chest and don't train back enough. The average person does like fucking 20 chest exercises and 2 upper back movements. So train your upper back more. Face pulls, elbows out rolls. Um, let's see, and this is DB. Next, Adam Lebroni. I thought that was Jabroni. Let's see. Give you a like. Stat 6'1", 185. Man, everybody's 6 foot tall. Fuck all of y'all, bro. 6'1", 185, 10 to 12% body fat. What are your best tips for bulking? Wait. Okay. What are your best tips for bulking? When I started my fitness journey, it was easy because I didn't care much about eating healthy, but now I struggle to get enough calories. Guys, getting enough calories is the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing. I mean, I used to struggle with it too, right? When I was like super fucking, I was like, what, 140, 150. Um, Number one is liquid. I would say, guys, number one is liquid meals. Eat liquid meals, right? Ensure, make your own shakes, right? Number two is fats, right? Spam fats. High carb, high fat. As far as protein, keep protein low, not like super low to where it's detrimental, but keep protein low, mainly because it's obviously very satiating. Fiber, be careful with fiber as well because it's very satiating. It's gonna make you full. So if you're trying to bulk, I would say liquid meals, ideally shakes like the testosterone smoothie and stuff like that. Um, Use fast digesting foods. So don't eat like a big fucking steak that's gonna have you full for hours. eat stuff like whey protein, or if you're gonna eat steak, eat ground beef. Like just try to eat things that are fast digesting so that your stomach is not stretched for too long. Pretty much want to do the opposite of what people do when they're cutting, right? So, and as far as fiber, just eat just enough fiber to be healthy, but not too much, because that's also gonna keep you full. And keep your fiber for late in the day. If you eat your fiber early in the day, you're gonna eat less. That's one of the reasons why fiber is OP for weight loss, right? It makes you eat less. So clearly, you want to be careful when you have an appetite issue. So you don't want to cut it out completely because you still need it. So just try to move it towards the end of the day. Next, you have Alejandro Munoz. Is this muscle growth simplified? Train in the 5 to 20 rep range. Do as many sets close to failure as you can recover from and focus on frequency. Yeah, it's muscle growth simplified, right? Lift in the 5 to 20 rep range. You could go up to 30, but depends. Do as many sets close to failure as you can recover from. I love that you added that at the end. I'm Mr. Recovery. Mr. Recovery. It all depends. I hate when people ask me, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm like, it depends on your recovery, right? It's like saying, should I buy this? Should I buy that? It depends how much fucking money you have, right? That's what recovery is. Recovery is your quote unquote money, right? So do as many sets as you can recover from, correct? For one person, it might be one set. Another person might be 20 sets, and focus on frequency, correct? Because hypertrophy, muscle protein synthesis is very short lived. People think it lasts so many days. Nope. 1 or 2 days, that shit is right back down, right? And if it's still elevated, it's for damage. It's to repair damage. It's not to grow muscle, right? And once protein synthesis comes back down, guess what happens? Atrophy. Now you start to lose that muscle. So yeah, frequency is key. Let's see. And you could confirm this by looking at the million studies on myostatin and protein synthesis and mTOR and all that stuff. All right, next, I've been training hard and with high frequency, but had to stop for a couple of weeks due to an injury. When I come back to training heavy, my body be more sensitive, and as a result, gain more muscle in a short amount of time. Yes. For many reasons, right? The mTOR reset, the fact that fatigue got a chance to, go away over time. So yeah, you should be able to get bigger and stronger. You probably have more myonuclei now. They had a chance to fuse and blah 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 blah. The differentiation process, the satellite cells, da da da. Da. So, pretty much the nucleus principles. So yes, you should be fine. Next, what's the difference between baseline genetic freaks and trainability genetic freaks? What are the wait? What was this guy's name? Tristan Wheeler. Okay, and then before him it was Alejandro Munoz. Shout out. Okay, back to Mark Gutierrez. I think that's the motherfucker that walked like 50 or 60,000 steps one day, right? I think so. Anyway, what's the difference between baseline genetic freaks and trainability genetic freaks? What are the genes that differ? Okay, so I think I mentioned that in one of the videos on genetics, but baseline genetic freaks are people who just look ripped and swole without even training, right? That's usually like myostatin deficiencies, right? Where they're just jacked as fuck without even training, right? Trainability genetic freaks, they look like normal people, even worse than normal people, but when they start training, they grow really fucking fast. Obviously, there's a lot of overlapping genes. Myostatin and phylostatin polymorphisms will always be involved. You can't escape that. But there's differences in actinin 3. There's differences in IGF-1 receptor genes. There's differences in androgen receptor genes, of course, one of the big ones, because that modulates myostatin and phylostatin. There's obviously differences in, type 1 versus type 2 fiber genes, right? MHC, myosin, heavy chain, blah, blah, blah. But again, like there's no need to split hairs over that. Just know it exists. Next, how important is lifting heavy? Oh, wait, you asked another question. You said, what are examples of bodybuilders of each type? Yeah, so for example, Phil Heath had the fucking baseline genetic freak type of shit, where at baseline he was jacked. Whereas Kevin Levrone had the trainability genetics, where at baseline he was like, and then when he starts training and takes roids, of course, he just blows the fuck up. But one of the largest differences between the two, though, like especially the trainability one, is androgen receptor sensitivity. Like people that have great trainability genes, they have really good androgen receptor genes. Whereas, again, I'm simplifying things here. Whereas guys who have great baseline genetics, they usually have really good myostatin polymorphisms. or follistatin, or the receptor, which is activin 2B. All right, next you have how important is lifting heavy in building muscle? Like how does calisthenics compare to bodybuilding? Okay, so lifting heavy, guys, it's I'm trying to simplify this. Um, Applying mechanical tension to the muscle, right, simply means, right, you are trying to move the weight as fast as you can, right? That's the best way to explain this. You're trying to move the weight as fast as you can, but it's going very slowly, right? That's when you maximize mechanical tension, right? Because of the whole force velocity relationship, it's physiology 101, right? So if you're trying to move, let's say, a dumbbell as fast as you can, but it's going slowly, right? That's when you're applying maximum tension. Now, do you have to lift heavy to do that? No, you could do high reps. And guess what happens? When you're doing high reps in the beginning, right, those first few reps are really fast, so they're not really applying a lot of tension to every fiber. But as you get close to failure, what happens? Now you're trying to move the weight fast, but it's still moving slowly. So it feels heavy, right? So that's what matters the most. It's not really the weight, it's really like the force velocity relationship, right? You're trying to move the weight as fast as you can, but it's moving slowly, either because it's too heavy or because you fatigued and now it feels heavy. So as far as calisthenics, same thing. If you're doing pull-ups, right? Those last few reps close to failure is what matters, right? Because that's when you're trying to move as fast as you can, but it's moving slowly because you're either too tired or you have too much weight on you. That's why everyone's confused between, wait, 5 reps, wait, 30 reps. It doesn't matter. What matters the most is going close to failure, where the rep speed is slow, even though your intention is to move it fast. Next, how to bring up a muscle group that is underdeveloped compared to the rest of your physique other than nucleus overload. Nucleus overload, the fuck? Like, you guys are always trying to reinvent the wheel. To bring up a lagging muscle group, you, apart from just training it, you have to train it more frequently, again, assuming optimized recovery. Because that's really what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to increase muscle protein synthesis. How are you going to do that? Apart from eating healthy and testosterone and all that stuff, you're going to have to apply attention. If it's lagging, it probably needs more attention. It probably needs more satellite cells, more myonuclei, more androgen receptors. And how are those things stimulated? Through tension, which is going to increase IGF-1, to be specific, mechanical growth factor, and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, more frequency, more volume. Next, a time under tension and reps equivalent in a set. Which one should we focus on? Okay, so this is, a lot of people get confused, right? When they say volume this, 5 reps, 30 reps. What matters the most is time under tension. Time under hard tension. When I say tension, I'm obviously referring to hard tension, right? I'm jerking off. That's not time under tension because it's not hard tension on my fucking forearms, right? Or whatever muscle we use when we fucking go like this. But, oh man. Yeah, so when we say volume, right? When we say tension, it's really time under tension, right? That's really what true volume is. True volume is not how many reps you did. It's not how many sets you did. It's how much time was that muscle producing maximum tension, right? Time under tension is also not like if I'm doing a fucking, I don't know, I'm curling for 20 reps, all of that time doesn't count because the first few reps, it's not under, the muscle's not under maximum tension, right? It's those last few reps that count. So, yeah, what matters the most at the end of the day, it's not reps, it's not sets, it's how much time the muscle fiber is producing tension. That's why you could grow from just stretch. You could grow from doing farmer walks. You could grow from stretching the fuck out of your pecs. You're not doing reps, right? So you could grow from isometrics. There's no reps, right? But the time is there. All right, and this was James West. All right, next we have, all right, Mario Saraiva, how to build muscle with autoimmune conditions. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously it's going to be tough because your inflammation is going to be sky high. But again, this is something that you got to talk to with your doctor, man, because I can't give you anything that's going to conflict where I don't know what medications you're on. I don't know what your doctor has you on. But yeah, ask your doctor and come back to me with more specifics. But it's the same rules apply. The same rules of muscle growth apply. It's just your recovery is gonna suffer because you're gonna be inflamed all the goddamn time. Or even if they give you like something that mimics cortisol, a glucocorticoid treatment, that's definitely gonna make things worse. But yeah, just give me more specifics. Like, what are you on? What are you taking to manage it? All right, I've been. Next one is. Okay, we're almost done. Finally, Marco Snuck. I've been jumping rope lately, and it's fun as fuck. What's the best approach to take if I want to grow my calves from it? Just yeah, and they may answer it. Just do it like you normally would, man. Just keep jump roping, bro. You could use a weight vest, right? But yeah. Next, is it okay to switch the exercise order on HSP speed to prioritize different muscles, like doing shoulder press instead of bench right after deadlifts? Yeah, yeah, you can. You can. Um, just make sure you're careful with it, right? Because whatever you do at the end is gonna suffer the most. All right, hope this video helps, guys. Join the SKOOL community so you can submit more questions and have access to my daily quizzes and posts and the courses and all the good shit, right? If not, you could buy the eBooks or you could hire me for one-on-one coaching. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.